Hi, I'm Donald Crunk. Welcome to Donald Crunk Tested. We're talking about tools and EDC and preparedness gear on this channel. On this video, we're talking about the most underrated tools and EDC gear that I've bought over the past 10 years. Stick around. To start with, if you can't tell under the ribbon here, I have a set of pliers, and they're not what you might think. These are from the Crescent brand, and actually a number of brands make this same or very similar set of pliers. I believe these are called mini pliers, and they typically come packaged with a set of flush cutters, usually for electronics work. But I found them useful for just a wide variety of things. They're spring-loaded, and they have a really interesting geometry to their head. They're very narrow, and they're fully mating clamping surfaces there, so no real space between them. And they're just very compact and easy to use to get into small areas. You can use them to hold, small 440 nuts or something while you're screwing parts in for small assemblies. So they're just really useful, and they're also fairly inexpensive. I think this set I purchased with the flush cutters on Amazon for something like $22. So you get your set of flush cutters and you get this set of pliers, and I think that's a really useful combo. You also find this same basic tool from SK, from Weller / Exolite, from even Weehaw has a set that's got black handles instead of red, and they're excellent too. They have a little bit different handle style, a little bit different over molding, but I suspect many of these are made in the same factory in Taiwan or somewhere. But again, these are just these mini pliers, I believe they're called. They're just a really excellent compact set of precision pliers to have, and fairly inexpensive. Okay, next in line we have a set of tools from one of my favorite German brands, and that is Felo. This is the Felo 32094 13-piece metric smart box. And what makes it a box is it actually comes in this box right here. It's a super nice, sturdy box. You've got spots for all your bits and your handle. I just felt that was an extremely bulky package, so I kind of removed the bits and the handle from the box, and I just kind of carry them separately now. I have it in this bag that came with a battery. I think that's where the bits live. But with this set, you get these double-sided bits. You get Torx, you get metric hex, you get Phillips and Posi-Drive, and flathead, of course. And then you get this interesting driver handle. We'll just use one of these, for instance. Fits right in there, and it clicks into, you can see this little depression here where there's a ball bearing detent that it clicks into very nicely. So that alone, pretty good driver and handle combo, right? You don't have like with a 1/4-inch bit, right, you usually have that protrusion at the end there where the bit holder is that prevents you from getting into fasteners that are recessed. You don't have that with this set, so I find that very useful. But also, this driver has a trick up its sleeve in that it converts into a T-handle. You press that out and click it back like that, and you have just a very nice and useful T-handle. The driver is, almost centered directly in the middle of the T-handle, which is useful when you're controlling the driver. So I paid $63 for this set in 2018. Again, this is like a nice German high quality set of bits. They fit the fasteners they're intended to be used with very well. So yeah, again, I bought this in 2018. Just checking today, now they're $116, so almost double the price. However, I'm sure Casey Tool or someone similar will occasionally run sales on these. That's how I got this set for $63 back in 2018. So just overall, like a really nice, well thought out set of bits, very high quality. And I tend to use this quite a bit for like firearms maintenance and stuff like that. You can put quite a bit of torque on the fastener with this T-handle configuration like this. So honorable mention, since we're talking about Felo, is this Felo ratcheting driver. This is the Felo Ergonic 64539 ratcheting handle. This has a couple tricks up its sleeve. It is a ratcheting driver, so 60 tooth ratchet, I believe. It has like a nice bit holder that's kind of similar to the Wera wrap adapter system, where you kind of pull back on the sleeve and it lets go of the bit. And it also can convert to a right angle or a 45-degree right there by pushing this button. One of the downsides of this, originally I was hoping that it would work with these. The bit holder portion is not deep enough to allow these smart bits to sit in there, so you have to use like a 1/4-inch bit. This tool would work, I think, best with these longer 1/4-inch bits, or sometimes you can get really long 1/4-inch bits. It's a really high quality ratcheting driver, especially for what you pay. This is, I think, $25 still, so it's a great value for what it is. A couple things I maybe like less about this is when you're in this configuration here, it's pretty difficult to control the bit in the fastener, because typically you have to have some force on the z-axis down there into the fastener in order to keep things stable and to keep your bit from walking out, right? And the right angle being on the end of the handle there makes that difficult. You almost need another hand there to keep to press down that direction while you're ratcheting. Okay, so that's not great. And of course, the aforementioned fact that you're pretty much stuck using just standard 1/4-inch bits, and I don't have a lot of these longer 1/4-inch bits, so it's a little bit more limited use. But important mention, just because this is so inexpensive, Felo I think is just one of my favorite German brands because they bring a lot of value to the space. This is not a tool per se, it's an EDC item. I consider it a tool. This is the Spyderco Endura Warncliffe. I talked about this in my EDC bag video, but I just consider this one of Spyderco's best value knives, and I own quite a few Spydercos, but this is one that I consistently reach for, and it is really on the low end of the price spectrum compared to most of them, except for their Chinese made knives, right? So this one's made in Seki City, Japan. It's got your plastic like FRN handles that they're kind of well known for. Pretty simple, like standard pocket clip there. The blade steel is VG10. So VG10 I find is really super easy to sharpen and maintain. So VG10, it doesn't hold the edge like some of the modern super steels, but it is still an excellent like everyday carry steel in my mind. And this blade shape, being straight, is actually very forgiving to sharpen as well. So I like that about it. And just the blade shape is awesome. Like for cardboard, for boxes, this thing is phenomenal. I have nothing bad to say about this knife. I bought this in 2020, and I paid $84 on eBay for this knife. Not used. This was a brand new knife. And sometimes you can find deals like that on eBay. For 84, like for less than $100, it's hard to point to a better value in pocket knives for me. I know the blade shape is a little bit specific. Maybe you don't care for that blade shape, but Endura has, a number of different blade shapes you can get. But I really like the Wharncliffe. Today, checking the prices, it looks like these are about $100, maybe a little bit more off someplace like Amazon or Blade HQ, something like that. But definitely the standard Endura or the Endura Wharncliffe like this one, not a model you want to discount. It just offers just a ton of value for what you're getting. It's a super hardworking knife. Like it's not like a knife that you're gonna like do tricks with or anything like that. You can operate it one-handed, right? It's a lockback, and it has this space behind the blade here where you can put your finger and just kind of do that, and it stops safely, and then you can go ahead and close it with one hand. So totally a one-hand operation knife. It's just not, you're not going to be flipping it around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with it, but it's an absolutely fantastic knife. All right, last but not least here, I have kind of a niche product. This is a drill guide from Big Gator Tools. So if you're somebody that uses a cordless drill quite a bit, whether you're a carpenter or working in fabricating some other material, I found this to be really, really useful. And I don't use this like in my professional life at all. I just use it around the home, working on various things. But this is just a hardened steel drill guide, basically, that allows you to keep your drill bit vertically aligned to whatever workpiece you're working on, and keeps that hole straight. So it's really a simple idea. It has this cutout here in the bottom, so any kind of sawdust that is produced can collect here without messing up the bit or causing a bunch of problems. But yeah, really you take the guide, you kind of hold it down to whatever it is that your workpiece is. It really works best on a flat surface, right? You kind of need that. You just hold it down with your hand and drill straight down. And this thing is $20 on Amazon, I think, and absolutely well worth the price if you own a cordless drill, which I think most of us probably do. And highly recommended tool. So that is the Big Gator Tools V-Drill Guide. This is the standard 1/8 to 3/8 inch model. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. That's pretty much the list of items I wanted to go over with you. I hope this was interesting. Again, most of these I feel bring just a ton of value for what they cost, and they're just choices that I've come back to again and again, and I've always thought, man, I'm surprised a tool this good and this capable costs what it does. I think they're excellent tools. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.